To many, the name Alfred the Great evokes the image of a legendary king who stood against the tides of Viking invasions and laid the foundation for what would become modern England. Revered as one of the greatest monarchs in English history, Alfred's legacy extends beyond his military prowess. He was a scholar, a lawmaker, and a visionary leader whose reforms and innovations were pivotal in shaping the cultural and political landscape of the time. Join us as we explore the life and achievements of Alfred the Great, the king who made England great. Alfred was born in 849 AD in the Kingdom of Wessex, specifically in a place called Wantage, which is now in Oxfordshire, at a time of great turmoil and uncertainty. He was a prince, the youngest son of King Ethelwulf, a wise and respected ruler. Wessex was a Saxon kingdom, known for its rich culture and strong warriors. It was one of many kingdoms in England, each with its own unique traditions. Life was dangerous. Vikings were fierce warriors from Scandinavia, known for their brutal raids. They attacked England, stealing treasure and land, leaving destruction in their wake. Even as a young boy, Alfred was known for his intelligence and curiosity, always eager to learn. He loved to listen to poems and stories, which were a window to the world beyond. He learned about brave heroes and distant lands, fueling his imagination and dreams. Alfred's family was very religious, instilling in him a deep sense of faith. He was taught to read and write in Latin, the language of scholars and the church. This was the language of the church, and it opened up a world of knowledge to him. His education would shape his future, preparing him for the challenges he would face. Alfred would need all his wit and courage to face the challenges ahead, as he grew into a leader who would change history. The Vikings were a constant threat. They raided villages and towns. They burned and looted. Alfred saw the brutality of the Vikings firsthand. He witnessed the fear in people's eyes. Alfred was just a boy, but these experiences stayed with him. They made him determined to protect his people. In 868 AD, Alfred's brother, King Ethelred I, faced a large Viking army. The Vikings were led by Ivar the Boneless. A great battle took place at Ashdown. Alfred fought bravely alongside his brother. The Saxons won a victory, but it was a costly one. The Vikings were relentless. They would return. Alfred knew that Wessex needed a strong leader. He would soon have to take on that role himself. King Ethelred I died in 871 AD. Alfred became king. He was only 22 years old. He inherited a kingdom at war. The Vikings controlled much of England. Alfred's first few years as king were difficult. He fought many battles. The Vikings were a formidable enemy. They were skilled warriors and sailors. In 878 AD, the Vikings launched a surprise attack. They captured the Saxon capital of Chippenham. Alfred was forced to flee into hiding. He found refuge in the marshes of Athelney in Somerset. Legends grew around Alfred's time in hiding. One story tells of him burning some cakes. He was distracted thinking about how to save his kingdom. Alfred was not defeated. He spent several weeks in Athelney. He rallied his forces. He sent messages to loyal thanes. They were Saxon lords. Alfred emerged from hiding. He led his army to meet the Vikings. The two armies clashed at Edington in Wiltshire. The Battle of Edington was a decisive victory for Alfred. He had used clever tactics. He had outmaneuvered the Vikings. This victory saved Wessex from being conquered. It marked a turning point in Alfred's reign. He had proven himself to be a skilled military leader. He had given his people hope. Following this huge victory, Alfred had created both a fragile peace and a time for rebuilding. This period marked a significant turning point in English history. After the Battle of Edington, Alfred the Great offered the Viking leader, Guthrum, a deal that would change the course of their conflict. Guthrum could keep some land, but he had to become Christian. Guthrum agreed, seeing the benefits of peace and stability. He and his men were baptized, symbolizing their acceptance of the new faith and the new order. This was the Treaty of Wedmore, a document that would lay the foundation for a new era. It brought a fragile peace to England. The treaty divided England into distinct regions. Wessex remained Saxon, while the east and north became known as the Danelaw, areas under Viking control. Alfred now had a chance to rebuild his kingdom, focusing on both defense and development. He knew that Wessex needed to be stronger, with fortified defenses to withstand future threats. He needed to protect it from future Viking attacks, ensuring the safety and security of his people. Alfred was not just a warrior. He was a visionary leader with a grand vision for his kingdom. He had plans to transform his kingdom into a center of learning and culture. He wanted to make it a place of learning and prosperity, where knowledge and commerce could flourish side by side. With great wisdom and the true heart of a fair ruler, Alfred embarked on a mission of reforming the laws and shaping a just kingdom. Alfred believed in the rule of law. He knew that laws were important for a fair and just society. He collected and revised old Saxon laws and created new ones. His law code covered many areas of life. It dealt with crimes, property rights, and family matters. Alfred's laws emphasized justice and compassion. He believed in protecting the weak. He knew that everyone should be treated fairly, regardless of their social status. Alfred's laws laid the foundation for the English legal system. His ideas about justice and fairness would influence English law for centuries to come. Alfred faced not just the threat of external attack, but the potential upheaval of his entire society. The invaders, particularly the Vikings, were not merely raiders. They were settlers intent on imposing their own laws and customs. They sought to disrupt Alfred's carefully crafted legal and social order, potentially dismantling the cohesive society he was striving to build. These invaders aimed to take over the land and live according to their own rules, often disregarding the existing laws and practices. Alfred understood that defending his kingdom meant more than just military victories. It required safeguarding the cultural and political integrity of his realm against those who would seek to reshape it to their own ends. Thus, he prioritized not only strengthening the army, but also reinforcing the social and legal structures that defined his people's way of life. Alfred knew that Wessex needed a strong army. He needed to defend it against future attacks. He reformed the Saxon army, making it more organized and disciplined. He built a network of fortified towns known as burhs. The burhs were strategically placed throughout Wessex and served as defensive strongholds. People could seek refuge in them during Viking raids. Alfred also built a navy. He understood the importance of sea power and wanted to challenge the Vikings on their own terms. His reforms were successful. Wessex was much better defended. Alfred's military innovations helped to secure the kingdom's borders. Alfred was a scholar at heart. He valued education highly. He believed that knowledge was essential for a strong and prosperous kingdom. He founded schools. He invited scholars from other parts of Europe to Wessex. He wanted to revive learning. He encouraged the translation of important texts from Latin into English. He wanted to make knowledge accessible to more people. Alfred himself was involved in this translation work. He translated books on history, philosophy, and religion. His most famous translation was of Pope Gregory I's Pastoral Care. This book became a guide for priests. It helped to improve the quality of religious life in England. Alfred's faith played a huge part in his success as a king. The church was just as important as the crown in Alfred's England. Alfred was a devout Christian. He believed that his faith was central to his role as king. He worked closely with the church. He saw the church as a partner in governing his kingdom. He appointed bishops. He supported the building of monasteries. He believed that monasteries were important centers of learning and spirituality. Alfred's reforms helped to strengthen the church in England. He also promoted moral and religious values among his people. He believed that a strong faith was essential for a strong kingdom. Although he successfully negotiated with Viking leader Guthrum, who converted to Christianity as part of the Treaty of Wedmore, Alfred remained wary of other Viking groups who were not bound by this treaty. These outsiders, who might wash ashore and bring further chaos, posed a significant threat to the stability he had worked so hard to build. Alfred perceived them not only as military and political dangers, but also as potential threats to the Christian values and societal order he sought to uphold. Their presence could disrupt his hard-won peace and undermine the Christian faith, which he saw as essential to the moral and cultural fabric of his kingdom. Thus, his vigilance against such invaders was driven by a commitment to protect both his realm and the Christian ideals he valued deeply. The legacy of a king like no other, he brought unification, prosperity, and the birth of a nation. Alfred the Great died in 899 AD. He left behind a legacy of greatness. He had saved Wessex from Viking conquest. He had laid the foundations for a unified England. He had reformed the law, strengthened the army, and promoted education. He had been a wise and just ruler. He had earned the respect of his people. Alfred's successors continued his work. His son, Edward the Elder, and his grandson, Aethelstan, expanded Wessex's power. They gradually conquered the Danelaw. By the middle of the 10th century, England was a united kingdom. Alfred's vision had been realized. Alfred's legacy extends far beyond his own reign. He is remembered as one of the greatest rulers in English history. He is often called Alfred the Great. He is the only English monarch to be given this title. Alfred's reforms had a lasting impact on English society. His law code influenced the development of English common law. His educational reforms helped to lay the foundations for England's intellectual tradition. His military reforms helped to create a strong and unified kingdom. Alfred the Great was a remarkable figure whose influence has spanned centuries. He was a warrior, a scholar, and a statesman, embodying the virtues of his era. He was a man of his time, yet his vision extended far beyond his years. He faced the challenges of Viking invasion with courage and determination, never wavering in his resolve. He was also a visionary leader who saw the potential for a united England. He laid the foundations for a unified, prosperous, and learned England, fostering education and culture. His legacy continues to inspire people today, reminding us of the power of resilience and vision. He is remembered as a symbol of English resilience, determination, and the pursuit of excellence, qualities that define a nation. Alfred the Great's story is a reminder that even in the darkest of times, one person can make a difference, lighting the way for others. His life and achievements serve as a beacon of hope and inspiration for generations to come, a testament to enduring greatness. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the life and legacy of Alfred the Great. As our small channel continues to grow, we're thrilled to share more fascinating stories from history with you. Your support means the world to us, and we'd love to hear from you. What did you find most intriguing about Alfred's reign? Do you have any suggestions for future topics? Drop a comment below to let us know. Your feedback helps us improve and create content you'll enjoy. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated with our latest videos. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.